is mix the rest of the ingredients. Now what I'm going to do, because some people like onions and some people don't, instead of adding the entire onion, I'm going to add half the onion to one, mix the thing together, split it in half, and add half the onion to one of the bowls. So normally you just grate the onion and add the whole thing in. You know what? I'll make it easier. I'll add the whole onion in. What the hell? You know what really tears me up? Grating onions. I should have kept the food processor up here. Well, I think I'll do that right now. Oh. Okay guys, after putting in your whole onion, which is very, very painful on the eyes, I ended up putting just like 3/4 of it in, because I'm not much of a very oniony person, but anyway. Next you put in your dry ingredients. 1 teaspoon of salt. Normally, you don't pour your ingredients over the bowl. But you know what? I don't mind. I'm careful. Oh my god! Okay, 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, next we have 3 tbsp of matzo meal. 3 tablespoons of matzo meal. Make sure that your matzo meal is open and able for pouring. So, okay, that's 1, and there we go, good enough. That's 2, as I get it all over my work shirt. And that's close enough, 3. Okay, next up, got to put in a little bit of the baking powder. I think it's, what's a 1/4? No, half. Don't worry, over that way. No, that way. Over that way. They're going to be the list of ingredients, so you don't have to trust me. Hold on. Phone. Then you take your half teaspoon of baking powder. Put it in there. There you go. Ain't that nice? Now it's time for dashes. Please note that a dash is not a very precise measurement, and it can vary depending on how much you like the ingredient. Okay, take our ground cinnamon.
Put it over to the small hole dash setting, and just dash it on there. I like cinnamon, so let's put a little bit more. Anyway, now for pepper, don't have that many fans of pepper. Just put a little bit. Anyway, there we go. And let me double check, I believe that's all the dry ingredients. Cinnamon, salt, pepper, yep. We're good. Now mix. Mix. Note, that normally when you're mixing, you're going to want to use both your hands. One for holding the bowl, and one for mixing. Okay. I'm going to give you a break on this mixing, guys.
Okay guys, it's time to cook the latkes. Now, when you're cooking, you have to remember, don't keep the fire all the way up, because sure, it cooks a lot faster, but you got to watch it a lot quicker, because otherwise it'll burn. Anyway, now, the way you want to lubricate your pan is with oil. Now, I'll explain that with a nice little short spiel about Hanukkah. Anyway, here, let me sit down and see if I get a little bit more of a view on that. Okay, let's see if that works. Anyway, basically, the story of Hanukkah works like this. Back a million years ago, okay, not a million years ago, but back during the time of Alexander the Great, about 300 years before Christ, the great Greek, okay, Macedonian, but whatever, Alexander the Great was doing this thing of going across the world and trying to conquer everything. When he got to Israel, the high priest came. Alexander saw the high priest, thought he was the man of his dreams. By man of his dreams, I mean man of his prophecies. And said, okay, you're cool. You know what? I'm not going to conquer you. So, they didn't conquer him. Yeah, my pan is not being right. Anyway. So, Alexander the Great came through, passed on through Israel, kept Israel as an ally, but passed on through Israel, and conquered the rest of the world. Anyway, so then Alexander the Great died, and he had no children because he was homosexual and he killed his wife, or something like that. Anyway, so his favorite generals took control of his empire in 3 parts. Emperor Ptolemy took part of the Egyptian slash, you know, Egyptian kind of Israel kind of area. Anyway, so then Emperor Ptolemy says, look at these Jews. Let's make them Greek. So, that's what they did. They tried to make the Jews Greek. Give them their language, you know, make Jewishness being illegal. Jews obviously didn't like it. So what they did is they rebelled. Biggest groups being the Maccabees. The Maccabees fought tooth and nail. And after a lot of fighting, got their freedom. But unfortunately, the Greeks, or the Ptolemaic Empire, had sacked the Jewish temple and stolen all of the oil. And, you know, broken all the jars of oil, ruined up everything, made a mess of the place. And all the jars of oil were ruined except for one. Okay, just want to make sure how my camera's doing. Anyway, all the jars were ruined, save for one. A small one, enough to last one day. Unfortunately, the closest olive oil, the oil, by the way, is for lighting the menorah. The closest olive oil making area was far away enough that to get there, make the oil, and get back would take 8 days. So, by some miracle, this small jar of oil, which was the size to last one day, lasted the whole 8 days. So it's considered a miracle. So what do? We light the menorah for 8 days to celebrate, you know, the thing lasting so long. And we eat latkes. Now, the Sephardic Jews have donuts. But here's the key point. You make it with oil. The oil symbolizes the oil that was put into the menorah. That was the miracle of Hanukkah that made it last 8 days. As for the menorah, that's pretty much self-explanatory. There are 2 kinds. There's the candle and there's the oil. Though, candle's a little bit safer. Anyway, that's about it. Now, as you make your latkes, you want to get about that brown. Maybe not quite as brown. I'd say cook one, try it. If you like it, or if you like it, you know, that well done, cook it that way. Otherwise, turn down the fire a little bit. Cook a little longer if, you know, the inside didn't get cooked. Now, one important thing. When you drain your potatoes, you have to let them set a little while for the moisture to get up to the top. Otherwise, you'll have what happened to me. Potato juice. That can be fixed simply by stirring it back in and cooking it off, but it's a lot easier if you drain it. And it leaves your your latkes less starchy. My bad. Everybody makes mistakes. Anyway, now when serving your latkes, I'm hungry, so I'm just going to eat this right now. When serving your latkes, there are two good ways to eat your latkes. And they include sour cream or applesauce. I get the name brand because I can. Anyway, just a dollop will do. Though, usually if you use onions in yours, applesauce is not going to be the best thing for it. The more onions you put in, the more likely that sour cream is going to be your best bet. That's why I suggest if you are going to have people over, some will not like onions, some won't. Once you add in the eggs, cut the thing, or add in everything but the onions, then cut it in half, and add onions only half of it. Anyway, that's about it. Enjoy your latkes. Happy Hanukkah. Today's the 21st, so happy winter solstice. And let's see, Christmas is going to be coming up in a couple days, so Merry Christmas to all. This is Joe Bob on Half, preaching two things: love and peace. One final thing about cooking these things: you don't need a lot to put in here. All you need is about a spoonful. And lastly, blot them. Otherwise they're a little oily.